So you were there at the town hall last night, and I'm wondering, can you share with our viewers what you saw? What happened?
So the Congresswoman was making her remarks. There were, I think, six of us elected officials there. It's a town hall for the area that I represent, and we had been invited by the Congresswoman, and she got up to make her remarks, and a man just stood up and he was shouting. I didn't hear what he said, but I could see this syringe just like he had it holding it up towards her and just started spraying out of this syringe.
What did you do, and how are you feeling now?
So I immediately start to tell Congresswoman Omar that she needed to go get checked because I could see this liquid and I could smell it. The smell was just disgusting. And I'm saying to her, there's something on you. I'm saying to her, the people around her that there's something on her. She needs to be checked. I was asking her to stop the meeting and go get checked. And she wanted to continue to speak and she did so. But I mean, the smell was still in the room. Everyone could smell in the room. There, I was sitting next to Senator Bobby Joe Champion, who also, I think some of it got on him too. At the time, I didn't know that it was on my jacket, but the smell wouldn't go away. And so at some point, I realized like that it was on me because we all kind of sat back down.
It was on you. So what did you do? And did you go to law enforcement agencies? Has anyone taken a sample of the liquid on your jacket?
So someone took my jacket. So MPD took my jacket last night. They when I was leaving the building because she continued to speak, but I was really shaken up, and I had some staff there with me that I wanted to make sure I checked on, and so I was gagging like the smell. I naturally just have a really weak stomach, but I kept feeling like I needed to throw up. So I got up out of the room. The room was like a basement room in this building, and it was really small and hot, and there was a lot of people in there. And so I needed to leave out of the building, and she continued her remarks. But as I was leaving out the door, the police department stopped me for a statement and for information.
And at this point in time, have you received any updates from the police department about what that substance might have been or what might have happened?
Yes, so I had a couple investigators call me this morning, and one called me to say that they tested my jacket at the lab, and they believe that it was apple cider vinegar and water that was, sprayed in the room.
Apple cider vinegar and water. That's perhaps a relief. Common cooking materials, but nonetheless, a very scary incident. And I should note that President Trump today publicly suggested that Congresswoman Omar staged this incident. What is your response to the president's comments?
I mean, the fear was real for me in that room, not only just for me, but there was a room full of people there who came to listen to a town hall meeting. And, this could have very well been just like the disruption of a meeting, but there was a substance sprayed. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was acid. I didn't know if it was airborne. Like in real time, you're in there, you don't know what's happening, and you don't know what's happening to whom. And so, like, it was a real threat to us in that room last night. And, I had my staff there with me. I had people that I know from the community that I had been talking with, and people were definitely scared.
People are definitely scared. And this comes in the context of ICE agents in Minneapolis, protesters protesting the presence of ICE agents, and of course the deaths of two civilians. Councilmember, I'm wondering if you can contextualize what happened last night in the context of everything that's been happening in Minneapolis. Does this feel like an escalation, a continuation? How would you describe what you feel about last night?
So I think, like, just for me, knowing what's going on in our community, how much people feel just kind of on edge anyway, like with whether that's someone delivering food to their neighbors and worried if their neighbor's house is going to be, if the door is going to be knocked on by an ICE agent and they're going to be taken out, or people afraid to take their kids to school. What last night was an opportunity for this community to come together and hear from elected leaders how we're going to make them safer. I feel like everyone in that room listening to us last night was there to hear a message from each and every one of us about how things are going to get better. And so when something tragic happens again, it just adds more trauma to the community. And it did earlier this week after the mayor talked to the president. It felt like, okay, things are going to turn around. And then something scary like this happens to people in real time, and I think it just magnifies the fear that people have in this city. And that, I know we're brave, but there's also a time where it just feels like a lot. It feels really heavy. And I think for me in that room last night, it felt like that. And I also know that it felt like that for other people.
It's a scary